It is time. 2024 Old School RuneScape skill tier list. We're going to go through all the skills. We're going to see how they've maybe changed recently to make them better, hopefully. And let's see where all these rank. We're going to start with the gathering skills, and we're starting off hot with mining. Mining is, right off the bat, I'm just going to stick it in D tier, and I'll give my reasons why. In terms of a gathering skill, I think it's probably the worst gathering skill. There's really not an enjoyable moment when it comes to mining. There's a few satisfying methods that you can do. The volcanic mine is a mini game that almost nobody ever participates in. Motherlode mine is recently updated to make it a little bit better. Shooting stars is really good. It's really good to do on mobile. It's easy to scout stars. They've made those better as well. So it's got a little bit there. You can now also do Volcano for XP. But in my opinion, I think it's better to do it for loot. So at that point, you're not really getting any XP. I wish they would just make Volcano just a decent bit better for XP. And then, I don't know, maybe mining would be a little bit better. The superior mining gloves, the changes that they've made to the mining gloves is amazing. How you can mine iron now, like 3 at a time before the rock going down, or amethyst is very, very... like just amazing updates. So I'm like, I almost want to put it in C tier, but it's not there yet. It needs another like update or two to get there. It used to be F tier. It's so slow, so boring. But I think those updates have made it really good. I love doing amethyst because of those gloves. I can more or less get a mini redwood experience out of them, and I can make my darts or I can make my amethyst arrows, which you can either make money on, or if you're an Iron Man, obviously those are really important supplies to have. So that's where we're going to stick that. Woodcutting is above mining, but not by much. And I might still put it in D tier, but I'm thinking C tier. So mining, in terms of leveling it, it's probably a more enjoyable experience than mining. It is got forestry now, which... parts of it are really good. The idea that you can chop a tree together and like you're not griefing another player. The social aspects of it, some of the events really cool to participate in, but man, did they clutter that update with... I look at the log and I have maybe half of it done because they've added like so many things. So I don't know. They've made it better though, I would say overall. The two-handed axes are also an interesting update. I kind of wish they leaned towards giving more resources and less XP, because one of the things with this tier list is how useful are the skills after you've gotten them to 99. Mining has some use, for instance. Like you might still do amethyst, right? But with woodcutting, what are you going to do after 99, right? If you're not a pet hunter, of course. You're not really going to do much. It's kind of just sits there. So any cool milestones? I mean, getting a magic log, but you kind of get those from other uses too. The magic logs you do need. The way you use the logs, the only thing is birdhouses, right? So once in a while, you'll do redwoods to like build up some birdhouses if you want to make money or get your bird's nest that way, or your eggs. We'll put it in C tier. It is arguably D tier. Okay, moving on. Fishing. Fishing as a gathering skill, when we're thinking about the 3 traditional ones here, at least, not counting hunter and farming yet, I actually think fishing now is probably in the best place. It might not have the best AFK method like redwoods, clearly, but I think with Temporos, it's a nice leveling curve now. It used to be a lot worse. I think Temporos overall, I think the outfit is really cool, but I love when there's a reason to do like a mini game and then do real fishing and then go kind of back and forth. And what you get from Fisher Todd in this case, or Temporos, is you get Spirit Flakes. Spirit Flakes are amazing because they allow you to catch 50% more fish. I like the loop of being able to get a bunch of flakes and then go fish like anglers or go fish whatever and like essentially get 50% more fish. And then when you run out, do a little bit more Temporos. Plus you get the rewards from Temporos, which are good. The only thing is Spirit Flakes take a while to build up because you got to spend the first like 5,000 of them on like your outfit and everything like that. So and by the time you do that, you kind of get a little bit more burnt out from Temporos. So I wish they could maybe increase like the Spirit Flakes per hour you get. That would be probably a way to make it a better loop experience. I want to spend a couple hours at Tempura so that I can spend like more hours fishing in the real world. And there's some good examples of that in PVM in terms of like Chargescape, and this is almost one of them. Just give me a little bit more flakes. You have like barbarian fishing, so you got like ways of training that way where you can like, if you're into tick manipulation, you've got that going for you. You can do more AFK stuff like anglers. You can always fish salmon, and that's very nostalgic and free to play. I'm going to put this in B tier. I think it's the best out of the three here. Hunter is a gathering skill. Doesn't feel like one, but it technically is. Hunter is one of the worst early leveling experiences. It's really slow out the gate, and it's just not great. Try to get your levels early from quests and stuff. Everyone does the museum to skip doing the Varrock Museum allows you to skip doing like the catching bird snares, which is like so bad. But Hunter is got a lot of diversity and a lot of utility. Diversity of training. You can do passive stuff like birdhouses. You could do stuff like chins, and you can do like chins a little bit more chill, or you can do chins with tick manipulation. You can do herbivore when you get high enough. Herbivore is a great way to train, decent money maker. You've got hunter contracts. So this is the big thing. Hunter contracts came out earlier this year. This definitely moved it up. Hunter contracts are a way to do different types of hunter tasks and kind of move around the world. And I also like that the rewards you get from hunter contracts make hunter better everywhere else. The outfit makes catch rate better. It makes also getting the rare creature part from the contracts better, but let's just ignore that and think about how it impacts outside of contracts. You're going to be catching chins better. You're going to be catching other things better, which is great. I wish the chance was even better so that it felt rewarding. Sometimes we add these boosts of like 5% or 2.5%, and you don't even notice it. The rune crafting outfit, you notice because it's 60%. So hunter contracts definitely made this better. I actually got it to 99 because of this. Post 99, this does have some utility. There is still a reason to do hunter post 99, whether it's for money or for chins or for birdhouses. Like, you're going to be interacting with this skill after you've maxed it, which is always a really good thing. I'm going to put hunter in... God, they could do so much more with hunter. I want to put it in B. I'm thinking about A. As a gathering skill... Put it in A. I might move it to B, but let's put it in A. I think it's pretty worthy. Okay. Farming, gathering skill farming. So farming has got farming's I think one of those skills where you might love or hate it. It's really easy to train, at least if you're okay with doing like daily tree runs or fruit tree runs. In terms of training, there's no active methods other than Tithe Farm, so like you kind of have to sit and wait. But that's fine because you're getting like 200k a day just from doing your runs. It's not super diverse in terms of training it, but yeah, it's got farming contracts, which are more for the seeds, less for the XP. Not as good of an implementation as like hunter contracts, for example, but you know, it's got some use there. I would say doing herbs is really good, and especially post 99, you're still going to be interacting with farming because you're going to want to do herb runs. If you're a main, it's like decent passive money. If you're an Iron Man, you definitely want to do that for your herb maintaining your herbs. So it's got that going for it. The cape is good too. The cape increases your yield for herbs, which is like always amazing. It's got some milestones along the way where when you get a new herb that you can plant, it's really good. When you get new trees you can plant, it's good. We didn't talk about much for milestones here, but it's very obvious for these milestones. My hunter's got some big steps in there when you get like new chins and whatnot. But yeah, herbivore is a big one. It's not fun to train. I don't find farming fun to train at all. Like, I mean, other than seeing big splats of XP. But I don't know. Some people really do enjoy logging in and doing a farm run, and I don't want to disrespect them. And it does have a lot of... You get your secondaries from this. Okay, maybe we'll put it in A tier. It's also kind of in between, but it does have so much utility. So many important things come from farming. So many herblore secondaries, so many herblore stuff. You don't get much from the trees and stuff afterwards, but yeah, it's a relatively easy pet to go for passively as well. And the cape's good, so we'll put it there. Okay, we're on to the production skills now. Cooking. Cooking is really fast to train, really easy 99. It's not very diverse though. Like, you are always essentially cooking 28 things. Like, there are a few methods. I think you could do like the Hosidius mess hall and stuff like that. And I think you can also do Trouble Brewing now. So it's got an update for that. Trouble Brewing, I think, is actually really good XP. So if you're into doing Trouble Brewing and getting some log slots, it did get an upgrade this year. What I like about it is that as you get better at cooking, your chance to burn stuff gets lower. So it always feels like every level matters. There's some really important milestones in terms of like what you can like cook now. I wish there was more ways of training it. You could do one tick Karamwans, like, and you can do wines, but most of the training is doing 28 things and waiting. The cape is really good because you never burn anything again. Post 99, you're still going to be cooking unless like you're a main and you really don't care about cooking at all. But if you're an Iron Man or you want to do something passive or whatever, you can always cook. I'm going to put cooking in. I'm going to put it in C tier because it doesn't have enough going for it. I think the update to Trouble Brewing is probably things people aren't utilizing right now, so check that out. It's got really good fletching XP too, and maybe we'll get to that in fletching in a second. Okay, crafting utility wise is insane. Like, it's one of the only skills that actually has like best in slot upgrades or like gear upgrades or anything like that, like within the skill. A lot of that you can just buy on the GE, but if you're into farming it yourself, you can do it. It's got a good variety of training, I would say. You can cut gems, you can blow glass. Again, it's kind of a 28 inventory thing, but there's definitely a few other methods that I'm missing off the top of my head. Very diverse skill. Post 99. I guess the thing with crafting is kind of once you get those milestones, you're not like going to craft a bunch of Furies for money or anything like that. Like, you kind of just make one or whatever, and that's it. You don't continue to craft. The cape is amazing. It's one of the best capes in the game, though. I would say that crafting is probably a B tier skill. We still have yet to get an S tier. Yeah, it's pretty fast. What else? Anything? Good milestones. Good speed all the way through. Yeah, let's put it in B tier. Production skills are kind of hard to rank because a lot of the training methods are kind of dry. Fletching. Okay, so fletching is kind of like crafting's worse younger brother in some ways. Fletching is very, very fast if you want it to be, but it costs a lot of money. It is... Training methods are relatively diverse. You can make arrows, you can make bows, you can make you can string bows together, you can do darts, you know, and there's some usefulness in terms of like those things matter, especially the ammunition. Ammunition's probably holding this up more than anything else. If you've ever made darts on your desktop and clicked back and forth, you're doing it wrong. I mean, you're doing it right, but what I do is I'll get a stack of darts and I'll go on my mobile phone and I will turn on like if you go to accessibility settings, you can turn on like a zoom on your screen and you can zoom in on your inventory to like the 2 darts or whatever, the feathers and the dart tips. And you can double tap with a finger like this or like this or like this. And you can get millions of XP per hour, way more than you can get on your desktop. And that's fun. Because I'll do a session of that for like 10 minutes, not even, and I'll have like 300,000 XP done. So I interact with it once in a while, yeah. Post 99, you might still make like certain things. As a main, it's a bit of a money sink, so you're probably not going to do anything post 99. As an Iron Man, you might make your darts and your ammunition and stuff like that. But yeah, it doesn't have too much going for it. It does, as I mentioned earlier, you can now actually gain fletching XP in Trouble Brewing, and it's like 90k an hour and it costs you nothing. by just chopping a tree and fletching it, which is really, really good because fletching is historically kind of expensive. So I recommend checking that out if you haven't. And you can combine it with Cooking XP if you want, but if you just want pure fletching, I think it's like 90K an hour. We're going to put this in C tier. Okay. Production, we got Herblore still for production. Okay, Herblore is training wise. There's you're making potions essentially the whole time, but there's different types of potions you can make. Ones that are more expensive to make but more XP. Ones that are like more profitable and less XP. The utility of what you're getting out of Herblore is like unmatched. The potions are insane. Like whether it's a stamina potion or prayer pots or strength pots, ranging pots, those are all super important things. Without Herblore, we would be super weak relative to how we are. So it's a really important skill. It interacts well with farming, which is really cool. It is not the most fun to train. Post 99, you're still going to do it though, because you're still going to want to make potions for your account or for money or whatever the case is. So yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, it's not fun to train, let's be honest. Cleaning herbs is also not the greatest. It's cheaper though. Cleaning herbs though, if you want to learn how to gear switch, clean herbs. You'll get really good at gear switching. I'm going to put it in A tier because I think its utility and its usefulness post 99 and the milestones matter as well. This is a skill that you'll constantly boost for because you're like, oh, I can make this pot now. Let me boost for super combats or whatever. So we're going to put it in A tier, but yeah, it's not fun to train. I mean, many skills aren't super fun to train most of the time, but let's put it there because it's a very important skill. Okay, rune crafting. Now this is one that I think in the past people put in the F tier all the time. The past is not the present, and they have made improvements to rune crafting. It mostly started with Guardians of the Rift. Guardians of the Rift, the game itself, pretty fun, especially when you're first getting into it. It interacts with the rune crafting altars in the actual real world, which is great, so it doesn't feel as much like a mini game as some other mini games. But the really big thing is you get great upgrades from it. So the outfit allows you to craft 60% more runes across the world. Amazing. It made rune crafting just way better in terms of like, wow, I can actually make a good amount of runes and it feels impactful. You can also get the giant the pouch, the colossal pouch, which also makes it like way better. Once again, clicking one pouch, filling more runes, etc. I wish they would get rid of degrading pouches at this point. It's just so annoying to have to do that. Maybe change the skill cape to something else, but I get it. If they want to keep it, that's fine. But that would make it a lot better. So yeah, rune crafting got better. We've added, like, not too long ago, there was the blood altar added. You have Arceus when you reach 99. You have the Scar Essence mine now, which isn't really a training method, but it is a way of utilizing rune crafting, like pretty much like post 99 you can make runes really quickly, etc. It's an Iron Man update though. They added something too. They added some shortcuts to the game through agility, and what that added was a shortcut near the nature altar, which allows you to make like 2 million an hour making natures. You make like 20,000 an hour or something like that. Anytime that you're rune crafting and you're making an actual meaningful amount of runes per hour, it feels good. So like astral runes feel pretty good because you make a lot. Natures feel good because you make a lot. They need to make that with some of the other ones. The elemental altars need to be standardized. Like you need to be able to make, like the air altar, you make way more than the fire altar. You're making like 9 times at like high levels, and the fire you're making like 3 times. Why are they all not like 9 times, right? The Scar Essence kind of like ruined that though, because now you can just go to the Scar Essence and make like 300,000 fires like in like 20 minutes. But yeah, and I think the other thing with rune crafting is without rune crafting in the game, this wouldn't be RuneScape. It's just so iconic. From like when you first played and you made your first batch of runes from, you know, Rune Mysteries quest, finding the altars as a kid. I don't know. There's something special about it. It's a very important skill. It needs to be better. Like, I wish shops and the GE and PVM weren't as much of a rune crafting hub as rune crafting is. Like, give me even more reasons to rune craft, please. Yeah, so I want that. And then, I don't know, sometimes rune crafting, the idea of it is better than the actual crafting, if that makes sense. But bless that outfit, dude. That was huge. Finally, not a skilling outfit where I make 5% more runes. Like, it's actually a meaningful amount. So this has historically been an F tier. Guardians of the Rift, the new altars, the shortcuts definitely moved it up. And its post 99 is very important. Its cape is really good for a bad reason. God, I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it could be even better. And I want it to get better. This is a skill where if any of these skills could turn into an S tier skill for me, make it rune crafting, because it's just so unique to RuneScape. Smithing. Okay. Smithing's a juicy one. I have a lot of issues with smithing. So let's start with the training methods. Blast Furnace is huge, and Giant's Foundry is relatively new, and it's really efficient way of training. We have some issues though. Blast Furnace is like too strong, and it's just not fun. But the idea that it's the fastest method and you use less coal bothers me so much. I want to be able to use a regular furnace without feeling like I'm using more coal. Like, why? It's slower. Let me use less coal, if anything, on like a regular furnace. Let me use more coal in a blast furnace. Like, give me a trade-off. I have no reason to ever use the regular furnace, right? You always want to do blast furnace. Giant's Foundry introduced something called the smithing catalyst, which was supposed to solve this. It's supposed to make it so that at a regular furnace you use less coal. Problem is, it's annoying to like build a stack of. Secondly, I'm pretty sure they pulled it as a stackable resource. And when I tried it when it first came out, it was not stackable. I don't know if it's been changed since, but you couldn't stack it. So there was no point in doing it. What do I use a regular furnace for? I use it for crafting, and I use it for cannonballs. Other than that, I'm blast furnace the whole way. And I don't know many people that enjoy blast furnace. Sometimes you get in a rhythm, and sometimes it feels good, and sometimes you're shooting for rank 2. But yeah, it doesn't work for me. And in terms of like milestones and progressions, it's arguably, actually inarguably the worst. The progression makes almost no sense. 99, obviously, to make a rune chest or whatever is like, does not feel good. They need to rework this. They need to make it better. The only milestones that actually matter in smithing that aren't for like alkables, runite alkables and whatnot, are probably the ammunition. Like the dart tips, the rune dart tips. Addy dart tips unfortunately got nerfed, but you might make a stack of them for whatever reason. And the runite, what are they called? The bolts. Like those are really important too. So yeah, they need to do more with it. They need to make rune come earlier, probably. They might have to nerf the alk values of rune, perhaps, so that it's balanced. And maybe you can start making dragon stuff. Like, why not be able to maybe make, like, down the line, you can make dragon bolts or something. I know that sounds crazy, but in my opinion, I would actually, it's fast. Post 99, you use some of it. The outfit makes smithing a little bit quicker, but plate bodies were already quick. Darts will get a little bit quicker. So the outfit makes the action 1 tick quicker. They should have made it maybe 2 tick quicker. That would have been cool, but whatever. 1 tick quicker is fine. Giant's Foundry. Does Giant's Foundry and those updates put this in D tier? Does it put it in F tier? I think it's F tier. It's close to D tier. Giant's Foundry could not save this. Then it has some utility. I'm going to put, just to fill out this out, we're going to put it in F tier. It's maybe a D tier, but I mean, yeah, we're gonna keep it there. Yeah, making gold bars and then never using gold bars for other than a little bit of crafting is crazy. Okay, agility. So this is another one that not a lot of people like. However, it did get a few updates, and it has gotten better. So I'll start with an update that happened a while ago. Howled Sepulcher, one of the best things to come to the game. Really, really good for agility training. Really fun, an actual fun way to train a skill. No way. You're not just running laps. So that is huge. Prior to that, this is probably an F tier, maybe D tier because agility levels. Agility levels matter because it helps with your run energy, right? The higher level you got, the less they mattered, really, because it was just, it's easy to get 30 levels when you're 1 to 30, but it's really hard to get 30 levels when you're, level 70 and plus. But the levels matter. Every level matters, which is always a fun feeling. They did something recently where they added a bunch of useful shortcuts. So I mentioned it with the rune crafting altar before. They added stuff for the DKs. They added stuff for Master Clue. You know what? Add shortcuts everywhere. They sped up a lot of shortcuts as well. I don't mind them doing that because all of a sudden agility feels important when you hit certain levels. There's milestones that matter. They also did another really big update where you can get Marks of Grace from other things that aren't rooftop agility courses. So you can do, I think Gnome Stronghold gives you Marks of Grace. So an Ape Atoll, now you can go for your monkey backpack and get Marks of Grace. So you can build your Marks of Grace stack quicker, which is really, really good for getting early graceful, which is really important, and just making some money, making some stamina pots. That's all good. Hallowed Sepulchre is what's holding this up, though. Post 99, you're not spending a ton of time like training agility per se. You're benefiting from it because of the shortcuts and because of your run energy, but you're not really running laps unless you want to make money or you want to make your stamina pots, stuff like that. Historically, this is a pretty bad skill, but I will say recently it's gotten some really healthy updates, and they're proposing to make it even better with some of the proposed changes to agility, run energy. I think, and they should maybe make your stand pods affected by your level or something. I guess they are. This is a tough one. This to me is almost a B tier. Maybe a C tier. The shortcuts are really good, but it's not too fun to train outside of Sepulchre. We're going to put it top of C tier. Above rune crafting, slightly, yeah, but it's close. Yeah, Hallowed Sepulchre is doing some heavy lifting, and some of the recent updates. We'll put it there, but this is a good mark for agility, man, and I could see it being bottom of B tier here. Okay. Oh yeah, and that was the first utility skill, and now we're doing the rest of the utility skills here, which is up until thieving. So we have construction. All right, construction from a training method perspective is really fast, really expensive. You can do mahogany homes now, which is less fast and less expensive. They're making it too where it's like really easy to left click build, left click remove, like super easy training. Wish that this existed. So the training methods are getting better. Historically, the training methods were horrible, and now they've definitely gotten better. You got the outfit. The outfit's not that great. It's a little bit more XP. If it did something else, that'd be better. If it used less planks, like maybe you were more efficient at building stuff, that'd be really cool. 2.5% XP, not a big deal. Its utility, like unmatched, like Herblore levels and beyond. The POH matters so much. The POH first is a drip, like you can drip it out, which is sick. You can store so much in there. If you're doing UIM, you practically have a bank from all the stuff you can store from your clues, your wardrobes, your armor cases. Like there's so much, your spices you can put in there. There's so many things you can put in there. The POH pool, the one that heals you, takes a long time to get there. Early levels for construction, you're not really benefiting at all. But the late levels, when you get the pool and whatnot, huge. You can't live without that pool. I mean, you got the Ferox Enclave now, which really helps and stuff, but that's massive. The teleports, you bring a construction cape, 99, or a house tabs or whatever, you get around anywhere in the game with just that cape. The jewelry box, being able to change your spell books, like there's so much going for it in terms of utility, and it's fast to train. Even with mahogany homes, it's fast to train. The milestones matter a ton. Getting levels, this is one of those skills where you boost, man. Like when you need a +4 or +5 boost, you're doing it because when you get that thing, it's huge. Post 99, you're interacting with it in terms of like you're benefiting from your house and you're benefiting from your cape. You're not training it though. You will never touch training. You rarely touch training after 99. There's no reason to, right? So that's something that's not too great, but you are always interacting with the things you've constructed. But yeah, maybe it would be cool if you used your skill of construction somewhere else or some way else. I don't know. Some way that was post 99, maybe getting some sort of resource or something through your skills, or maybe just like a casual way to make money. Like you know, maybe with Mahogany Homes, you can, instead of like getting increased XP, kind of like Volcano, you can switch it to maybe more like resources. Maybe it's a way of you to get GP or something. I don't know. There's potentially things they could do with it. That being said, I think I want to put this in S tier because it's too powerful. It doesn't have everything going for it, but the utility that it has going for it, just like automatic S tier. And if it wasn't for Mahogany Homes, this would not be S tier because training it was horrible. And if it wasn't for the updates they're making to left clicks and right clicks and all that, it wouldn't be S tier. But those things moved it up because the bad thing it had going for it was the training being like really tedious and expensive, and part of that's been solved. Next utility skill, fire making. We're going the other way around here. Fire making is a skill that was put in the game like way back in the day because, I don't know, they just thought of making fires as being a skill. The way you fire make is you get to level 50 really easily. You do Wintertodt. You don't have to go to 99 fire making, by the way. Everyone who says go to 99 fire making right away, you don't have to. I'm like 95 or something. It's not great. Wintertodt is okay, but there's no reason to really do much outside of Wintertodt. And that's a problem. They did add bonfires. So bonfires is now a way that you can use your like billions of maple logs to just casually gain XP, which is really good. I wish I had I wish I had Wintertodt green logged so I can just do bonfires to 99, but I don't have the pet, so I kind of want to do that and then whatever. So yeah, the milestones don't matter. Like, oh, you can burn a new log. What's the point of burning a new log? More XP. That's it. The only milestone that matters for fire making that isn't that is Shades of Morton. Shades of Morton is the only area where when you get a new log, you can do like a better shade. So I was happy to get 95 because then I could do the best shades, and then I can do, you know, that's a good way to get clues or a good way to get the prayer outfit or whatever, right? That's the only way fire making matters in terms of levels. That isn't just burning logs for more XP. I wish, my dream for fire making, to make it just useful, is to make it so that when we cook on fires made with better logs, are either the burn chance or the way we cook is better depending on the log. So right now, ranges are better than logs to cook on. They have a better less burn chance. In my opinion, if we just did a little fantasy here and we made it so that like cooking on a fire is better, like cooking on a barbecue tastes better. If we did that, we could actually make fire making useful, because when you start burning redwood logs or you do magic logs, you're going to have more of a perk to cook on those versus using a range or using oak logs, right? Make it so that your burn chance is lower. Now, the only thing with burn chance is once you get 99 cooking, you'll never burn anything. So maybe it's not burn chance. Maybe you can cook quicker on a fire, right? Or something else, just to give you a reason to get the levels and interact with the cooking skill or whatever skill, so that you can benefit. Maybe there's something we can do in the future where you use fire making for herb lore, like you can brew potions more effectively or something like that, right? Give me a reason to get the levels, like Shades of Morton. I want to reach a milestone and be like, yes, I can now use these logs on this. They could do a lot here. Unfortunately, they haven't. This is why this is currently an F skill. Please add a couple changes like I described, and this could easily be like a C level skill, right? Just because of the utility. Right now, it's got nothing going for it. Post 99 cape means nothing. It's like a light source. And other than being fast, like it has nothing going for it. Okay, second last utility skill, we got Slayer. Slayer is a skill that I think is another love or hate skill. I actually, on my main, when I first played, I did not enjoy Slayer at all. On my Iron Man, I love Slayer. So I've been on both sides of the fence, and it's not because I'm a main versus an Iron Man. I think the thing that holds people back from Slayer a lot of the times is it's a bit complex, and if you go into it the wrong way, you can have a very different experience than somebody else who goes into it a different way. The things you unlock and when you should unlock things and what levels you should do things matter so much for the experience. If you kind of just get into it at like a relatively low level, you get into it, you get some upgrades, maybe you prioritize getting your Slayer helm or you get like ring bling, right? You're going to have a way worse time than somebody who goes into it and does a different strategy. When I was on my Ironman, I focused mostly on having a decent combat level. And then the second most important thing to do was to get a good block list. Once I had a good block list, I was effectively able to do tasks and skip the ones I didn't like and do the ones I did like. And that made a huge difference because I never felt like I had a bad task because I always ended up with a surplus of points while I was leveling, right? That allowed me to do a lot of barrage tasks, allowed me to do a lot of AFK tasks like Dagonoths with the Bone Crusher in the Catacombs. There's a lot of different things I could have done to make my first experience better. And I recommend that people think about what they're spending their points on for this skill. In terms of updates, it actually hasn't been updated in a long time. The last update to Slayer was Alchemical Hydra, which is long ago. That being said, we got Araxor coming out. Araxor is going to make it, it's always fun when Slayer has a new boss. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited that there's going to be Araxi Slayer task. I would love it if there was a superior because it would be a really good heart chance. There might not be. That being said, the cave exists right now in game. The cave, you can barrage them. Okay, you can Venator bow them. You can cannon them. It's multi. You can do anything you want there, which means it's going to be a good XP task regardless, even without superiors. So it's getting a buff. Please give me superiors though. I'm going to put Slayer in S tier. It's got so much utility. We didn't even talk about the fact that so many best in slots are locked behind it. So much money making can be made. Some of the Slayer bosses are a little bit dry, right? Some people like the fact that you can AFK Kraken, and that's fine. I don't want every boss to be Kraken, though. I'm hoping Araxor is a fun boss, right? I know getting those milestones, like they're very huge milestones, especially on an Ironman, but getting them, like Araxor is coming out soon, and you might be a main without 92. You're not going to be able to participate, right? And you're going to be, oh, I need to gain so many levels. And I think that can detract people away from it. That being said, I think it's an amazing skill. I get it if you think this is a bad skill, but please, if you want to give it another chance, what you need to do is have a decent combat level and set up a really good block list where you get rid of, don't block like steel dragons and stuff like that. Like block the things that are high weight and annoying that you never want to do. Skip the steel dragons or whatever. And I think they made dragons, that's another update. They made dragons a lot easier to kill now with elemental spells. So technically a Slayer buff there too. So we got a couple changes this year for Slayer. S tier for me. Okay. Thieving. Thieving is, training methods wise, technically got a good amount of diversity in terms of how you switch it up. Most of it's pickpocketing though. You're clicking an NPC, click, 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 click. People always talk about getting a foot pedal for this reason. Artie Knight's super AFK for this. Master Farmer's good in terms of like you can get some seeds and stuff, some money there. Good early game money. It did get a huge buff this year. Varlamore training is really, really good. It's pickpocketing with a little bit of AFK baked in, which is very nice. And then the burglary, like stealing from the houses, really good as well. You get some prayer XP baked in there too, which is really, really good. Post 99, there's still reasons to thieve. It can still be good money. You might need blood shards. You might need crystal shards. That being said, the crystal shards are less important now. Zolcano is insane crystal shards per hour. It's like 80 per hour now. So if you were previously doing getting shards through thieving, like if you were an Ironman, you can now do Zolcano instead and try to maybe get a crystal tool seed along the way and still get like 80 shards an hour. Diversity wise though, outside of pickpocketing, you have the pyramid plunder, which is not very fun. And then obviously the new Varlamore, which is pretty good. This is a skill I wish they do more with. I think this is a skill they could do more of, like Howled Sepulchre type stuff. I think it'd be really cool if you went into like a tomb and you stole something and you had some like Indiana Jones Aladdin vibe going on. We got to like escape the cave and dodge and right, like, and maybe get a little bit of agility XP sprinkled in. But they could do a lot more cool stuff with thieving. They could do more like good stealth, not like stealth we've seen in the game, but like good stealth stuff. They could do good like sneaky stuff, and you know, they could do Raiders of the Lost Ark. They could do some really cool stuff with it that they haven't fully done yet. The cape is really good because it helps with pickpocketing across the board. Yeah, Varlamore definitely helped this skill out, but I don't like its training methods for the most part. God, it could be so good. Thank God for Varlamore. This could have been like a D tier. We're going to put it in C tier. I'm going to put it somewhere around here. Yeah, it's an okay skill. It used to be worse. Okay, we got the combat skills left. These are going to be a little bit different, but yeah, let's see. So attack, strength, and defense. Kind of want to group them together, but I'll talk a little bit about the differences. Attack is really good because you get the different milestones in it. Getting certain unlocks. The tiers are weird though, like, oh, 82 for this or 80 for this. Like, you know, they're relatively arbitrary, and like, yeah, they have a really, really big impact in PvP, like in terms of like what level you want to get this to, which is really cool. But yeah, they're yeah, and then the cape isn't that great. This cape is actually probably better than the other capes, strength and defense, because you can go to the Warriors Guild infinitely. But I mean, how often are you doing that? I'm gonna give attack. It's obviously really important to get attack levels, and you're obviously benefiting from it all the time. But I mean, you're training it. Yeah, we'll put this in. Put this in B tier. There isn't much like going for it. Strength, however, strength is cool. Like, who doesn't like strength? Because you get attack, you get damage numbers. Everybody loves damage numbers. I want to put this in A tier or in S tier because it just feels, it's so nostalgic and it's so fun. There's builds you can do with it. Mostly, I think like a Dragon Warhammer build, 99 strength, etc. I mean, the cape, post 99. Post 99, you're always using strength because it always gives you damage. You very rarely use the other stats. I mean, I'd be putting it in S tier for nostalgic reasons. So maybe I should stick it in A tier. Probably here. Let's put it in A tier. Defense is very similar to attack. Some of the levels matter. You know, you can wear Barrow's gear or whatever, right? Ruin, stuff like that. Hitting 40 defense feels great. There's a lot of like 1 defense pure, although that is you not using the skill. But there are other types of level gaps in PvP that matter. It's pretty much the same as attack. The one thing that defense has over attack, though, training-wise, you can barrage. So it can actually get better training. So I'll actually put it above attack here. You pretty much, when you're barraging, pretty much always want to do defensive barraging just because you get the extra XP because, you know, number go up. Okay, HP. HP is pretty cool. We'll put it here. Not much to it. Not much milestones. Actually, no, we'll put it below that. Actually, we'll put it in... I mean, levels matter, but we're going to put it in D tier because you don't really do anything with HP. Zenites, I think, use HP levels and a few other things. I think Rancor might. But there isn't really much to it. It's arguably, like, not really a skill at all. Yeah, I'm thinking like training methods. It's all combat. Utility. The cape is nice because you get more healing. It's slow. Yeah, we're putting it in D tier. There really isn't much to it. Range. Range is huge. Range is got a lot going for it. Oh, fletching before, by the way. Yeah, fletching has a lot with ranging too because you can make like hunter crossbows or you can make like blowpipes, right? When you reach a certain level. Very low levels to get, like not hard levels to get. Maybe the hunter crossbow at a certain level in your account, you might want to grind for this, but still a C tier as a result. It needs more. But going back to range, range feels good. Range is around the same as strength, I would say, maybe a little bit higher because I think it's a little bit more diverse, a lot more options. The cape doesn't matter, but you do use it because it works with Avas at times, so you might use it with Bofa and stuff like that. Tons of utility. Yeah. It's going to be one of your highest XP ones, so we'll put it there. Magic. Magic, in terms of training methods, one of the most diverse out there. You can do fast methods. You can do more expensive methods. You can do profitable methods. So you got like stuff really quickly. You got alching. You got barraging. You got plank make. You got enhancing jewelry. Not really great for training, but yeah. I said barraging. You got teleports. You got just general combat training with it. There's a lot to it in terms of training. Its utility, pretty much unmatched. It's got 4 different spell books, and the spell books are all in a decent place right now. You pretty much interact with all of them. The standard book probably you use the most early, and then you start switching to more ancients and Arceus book a lot for either training or utility. Its speed along the way is all good. They changed it recently, so they added elemental weaknesses, which made magic a lot better against certain targets. They also made it so that like air spells and whatnot deal the same damage as fire spells. Like when you unlock like the fire strike skill, then all of a sudden air strike does the same amount of damage. Like which means that early game you could just use fire strike the whole way, or you can kill something that's weak to fire or weak to air and not have to worry about not using optimal damage because air is dealing the same amount of damage. So it's gotten a buff recently. Post 99 cape's really nice for switching. The milestones are super important at certain levels. You get really good upgrades. It affects PvP a ton. It affects rune crafting even. Like there's so many ways that this affects things that it's just too good not to put it S tier. In fact, it's probably the top skill in the game in terms of just how much it's got going for it and all the spell books and everything. Prayer is prayer's got a lot of utility. The skills matter a ton. We couldn't live without overhead prayers. Offensive prayers are great. Some of the niche prayers are really good. We scrapped ruinous prayers. That did not come out. We might have god alignments in the future, but we don't know. Training wise, it is mostly around burying bones. The Chaos Altar in particular is really, really overpowered. You pretty much always want to use it, whether you're level 1 to get your overheads really quickly, or your later levels. Even if you were to get PK'd there a bunch, it's still going to be worth it because it's so worth it for the amount of bones. You're doubling the amount of bones you use because it's 50%, but then that bone could proc again, and that bone could proc. I'm losing myself. That it makes it worth it. So training wise, that's the main method. That being said, it did get a buff recently. Varlamore added a lot of different ways to get bone shards, which are an amazing way to train prayer. The benefit of bone shards, so let's say you did Moon's Apparel or you did thieving, and there's another major one. Hunter contracts give you some. The Sun-Kissed bones you can break down. Those shards you can then use with wines and like Sunfire wines at a pool, and it becomes basically what happens is you want to amass a ton of shards passively, right? And once you've gotten everything passively, you spend a very short amount of time training that with the bone shards. And it comes out to, when you're doing it, like over 1 mil XP per hour. You won't be doing it for long. It's kind of like when you fletch darts. You won't be doing it for long, but you'll get like a burst of XP, which feels really good because at the end of the day, it ends up being really like a no time kind of really efficient way to train. So that has definitely really, really made it better because prayer has historically been really hard to level and really expensive, especially to get to 70, which is a huge milestone for a lot of things. And they've made it a lot better. Anything else with Varlamore? Yeah, just everything gives you that now. I think even the agility course was supposed to give it to you, but that hasn't been added yet. Post 99, the cape has some use as like a holy wrench, but not really. The levels always matter in terms of like how they affect your prayer pots. You'll hit different thresholds so that you restore more. Having more prayer is always better, so there's a lot of use there. If it wasn't for Varlamore, the training methods would hold this back, but I think Varlamore really buffed it. I'm going to put prayer in the... We're going to put prayer in the B tier, somewhere around here. I think that's fair. Yeah, so that's a tier list. I think this looks pretty good. You can argue a few things here and there. If I were to look at it again, I could see, I gave fishing a good score. I could see thieving maybe moving to B, maybe agility. I could see wood cutting even moving down, or cooking moving down to D, stuff like that. But I'd say overall, this is pretty good. So what do you guys think of this list? Hopefully it aligns with some of the things I said, but I know some people are probably going to say, no, how could you put Slayer in S, or how could you put farming in A, or why is Hunter so high? But I think this is a pretty good representation overall for all types of accounts as well. Hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you next time.